No other philosopher embodied a Christian worldview so effectively and applied it to the political problems of his day than John Locke. And that's why I think he was so appealing to the American founders. When you think about Locke in the second treatise, think 1776, because the founders were literally quoting from Locke. They're cribbing from Locke in the Declaration. Some of the phrases appear. What is he facing in the 1670s and 1680s? It's a battle between the authority of the king and the role and the authority of Parliament. Can the king just dismiss the legislative body when he doesn't like what they're doing? And that's what the king is trying to do. That's what Charles II is trying to do, and James II, his successor, will try to do the same. That creates a political crisis in Great Britain. Are you going to have constitutional government by consent? Is Parliament really going to have a role, or is it going to be the plaything of the king? That's what he's facing, and that's the political dimension to this thing. But then there's the religious dimension, and you can never really separate it from the political. The religious dimension is the crown, working with Parliament, is trying to reimpose some kind of religious vision on Great Britain. That's happening in the 1670s, 1680s. But the other thing that's going on is what happens in the 1680s across the English Channel there in France. Louis XIV's Catholic France, which is a model of absolute monarchy wedded to the Catholic Church. So you have a kind of political authoritarianism and you have a religious authoritarianism working hand in hand right across the channel. And that's a powerful force to be reckoned with. What happens in the 1680s? Louis XIV revokes what was known as the Edict of Nantes. This was it was an act of toleration where the Catholics were really willing to put up with the Protestant minority, in the Calvinist minority in France. Give them a measure of civic freedom so they can worship without being pounded, without being arrested. Well, he revokes that in the 1680s. Locke happens to be living in the Netherlands because he was involved, we think, in a plot to overthrow the monarchy, the king, Charles II. That plot fails. Locke is in hiding in the Netherlands. He's on the run. He's moving from house to house. But when Louis XIV revokes the Edict of Nantes, what happens? You get a massive refugee crisis. The Protestants in Catholic France are no longer welcome. They have to essentially abandon their faith. And so thousands, tens of thousands flee from France. Many of them wind up in the Netherlands. Why the Netherlands? Well, it happens to be one of the freest, most tolerant countries in Western Europe at the time. They got a lot of independent presses, a lot of independent thinkers, and Locke will come into the company of some of the most progressive, liberal-minded people on the continent at the time in the 1680s. So he will publish his two treatises of government, but also he'll begin writing what I think is the most important defense of religious freedom ever produced in the history of the West. He writes his Letter Concerning Toleration. He writes it in 1685. That's when the Edict of Nantes was revoked by Louis XIV, and he's encountering these refugees. He starts writing that letter in the winter of 1685. It's not published until a few years later. But the point is the immediate historical context is intense religious persecution. Locke is seeing the results of this, and now he realizes we've got a massive problem on our hands.